What's up, everybody? How's it going? Looks like it's me going live by myself. I think Josh and Andy are busy. So, what I'm going to do today is just talk about the Vols loss to Alabama. I'll keep it very quick because it's just me. Unless there's a lot of interest from the viewers, if there are any. See, we got one viewer out right now. Thank you for supporting. But we pretty much got outclassed today. There's no point in the game where I felt like, oh man, we're really gonna, come back or do really well. Except for the end of the first half, and that end of the first half was a fucking tragedy. You gotta absolutely throw that ball if you're Joey Aguilar to the outside, to the pylon, away from any interior defenders. I thought the play call was really bad. That everything in your brain when you see that lineup would be, or that formation would be, oh, this is a run. But except given the situation and the down and distance and the time left on the clock, like that's a fucking 100% pass. Like none of the Alabama defenders were fooled. Again, why can't you run there? Because you have 9 seconds, and if you no timeouts, and or maybe one timeout. I think no timeouts because you want to leave yourself time if you throw the ball to kick the field goal. So nobody was fooled by what Josh Heupel called there. Really bad play. It obviously gets picked off, throws to the inside. The run back was 99 yards, and the fucking defensive back for Bama made sure to do a stutter step so they would eventually score on that. That was the point where hope was lost. I could say we were talking about it in our podcast, like that was the inflection point of the season, the second inflection point. And that was the inflection point of the game, right? You go down 23-7, and it's really not close after that point. It's 100% kind of fucked. So really at that point, you got to consider what are we doing from that point. Second half, we get a quick 3 and out. Bama looked really bad on offense. We get the touchdown, so we cut it to 10. We kind of fluctuate a couple times between 10 and 17, 10, 17, 10, 17. But man, they had better players. We made some mistakes. We made a lot of mistakes, actually. And, are those mistakes all on us, or did they force the mistakes? That's kind of the question. I would say 50-50. Some of them are just, complete drops or whatever. You can't really fault or credit those to Bama. But things like safety, things like those type of things were kind of pretty bad. They had a 90-yard touchdown drive to get it back to 17 points. After that point, you kind of just got to say, today's not our day. We haven't won in Tuscaloosa since 2003, right? In 2003, I was 12. I'm 34 now, right? So 22 years. And that's heaps. And there's a reason for that, right? One, we don't show up on the road. We definitely don't. Two, for the majority of those years, we did not have a better team than Bama, right? I think today showed that, there's classes in the SEC this year. I won't say Alabama is necessarily the best. I think you can argue Georgia the best. Texas A&M, I guess, technically is still the best of the SEC. They haven't lost yet. Ole Miss plays Georgia really, really close. I would say right now they're probably a level ahead of us, but we're in tier 2 of SEC. It's not really close. I thought really after the pick six, we lost our juju. We got it back a little bit at the start of the third quarter. But again, we let up a 99-yard TD drive to end the third quarter. And then from that point, it was not really much of a game, right? We got it back to 10, and then this got it back again to 17. I also was kind of pissed off we didn't score to end the game. That's like kind of a pride thing. You got to score. Like, come on. You were at the 2, multiple first downs, kind of afraid to run, fake runs. Maybe one of those kind of like I noticed they didn't do any reviews. One of those runs was probably a touchdown, either the second one or the first one. But either way, not really any resolve shown by the team. Again, I didn't think that we were going to win this game. If you listen to our podcast, I said explicitly like we're probably going to lose this game. Beforehand, I just didn't think, given how we played versus Mississippi State and who else did we play? Arkansas. Like if you're giving up 30 points to those guys, you're definitely going to give up 30 points to Bama. Can you actually score 30 points versus Bama? We couldn't, right? We couldn't even get 21 points. We had 20 points. Yeah, I think we got to now consider what kind of team are we? We're a 2-loss team, right? Both of those teams in the conference. We have no ranked wins. What else? We still have teams we can lose to on our schedule. We have Oklahoma, we have Florida, we have Vanderbilt. I'm not very convinced we can beat Vanderbilt. Oh, that's another team that's probably ahead of us right now, Vanderbilt. I know we always beat them. But at this point, can you take any of these games for granted? Probably not. Like, none of these, probably other than Kentucky and New Mexico State, are locks that we'll win. Be great if we could win all 3. But I think at this point, safe to say, no playoffs. No playoffs, guys. I know it's a rough pill to swallow, but my kind of thesis was if you win versus Bama, you have a chance to win out, and you have a chance to play in the playoffs. 1-loss SEC team is going to make the playoffs. I think that's just a reality at this point. 2-loss SEC team, you need shit to go your way. But I mean, 2-loss SEC team in the middle of the season where you still have to go to Florida, you still have to play Oklahoma, you still have to play Vanderbilt. I know it's weird, like I keep talking up Vanderbilt, but at this point in time, I'm not really convinced we're better than Vanderbilt. I know that, that might sound extreme, but I think we're in an extreme kind of mindset after this, right? Like we're not in a point where we dictate our own destiny, right? If we're a 1-loss team, you just got to keep winning and you're in. Now we're a 2-loss team, and that's 2 losses and counting. I wouldn't say that it's, for sure 2 losses, but holy shit. I mean, for sure, just 2 losses. I wouldn't say maybe it is, but I see 3 teams on our schedule that we can lose to, like pretty easily. So just consider that. It's not very good news. I thought that we should consider like our offensive coordinator, forgot his name. Who's our offensive? Joey Heisel. He is not calling calls that make sense. I really didn't like the formation again that we showed up in at the end of the first half when we threw the pick six. Like, disregard the pick. Like, that's a terrible play. Like, that's not a winning play. Again, you got to consider, what do you need to win versus these teams? You need to be able to run and pass the ball. Like, if you just look at our stats for this game, our team stats are actually sick. Like, I think we had over 500 yards of offense, right? Usually when you have 500 yards of offense versus a team, you could win. We couldn't win. So what's that about? 400 yards. We had more rushing yards. We had more passing yards. We had less punts. We had more penalties. We didn't lose a fumble when Alabama did. We threw an interception. They didn't. We had more first downs. We were better on fourth down. Same amount of third downs. But when you look at this, it's like, okay, maybe this is an evenly matched game. And no, it was not an evenly matched game. Like, at no point in time, they kind of beat us by not making mistakes, critical sacks, critical kind of plays that separate winners from losers, right? Joey Aguilar was sacked 4 times before this game. He was sacked 4 times in this game. So they doubled the amount of sacks, on the QB. And they were all very timely. They were, Joey Aguilar really played the shit. Ty Simpson really didn't make any mistakes other than that fumble. And even that fumble, like, I don't think that was a fumble. Like, his arm was, you can argue what's a fumble, what's not a fumble. His arm was moving forward with the ball. Maybe the possession of the ball was what was in question, but it was pretty easy for Alabama. Like, they didn't have any long, explosive rushing plays. Ryan Williams played well. Jeremy Bernard, kind of like low-key game for him. Not really that well, good performance. No real special teams issues or, serious mishaps. But holy shit, guys. Like, it's not that hard to tell that after watching 100% of this game, like, that was not a good performance. That's not how you beat great teams. This looks like a team that's like, oh, okay, slightly better than Mississippi State and Arkansas. But, what else do you have to say for me? Let's go through the SEC teams, right? And I'm just going to consider, if we play right now, do I think they could beat them? LSU, maybe. Auburn, maybe. Mississippi State, we beat? Yes. Arkansas State, we beat? Yes. Bama. No. Florida, maybe. Texas, maybe. Missouri, no. South Carolina, again, maybe. Depends on which version of South Carolina you're getting, but probably we beat South Carolina. Florida Gators, I have no idea. Vandy, I don't think so. A&M, I don't think so again. So Georgia, no. So it's like, yeah, like it might turn out that we have a kind of middle of the tier, middle of the conference team. And the question is, like, are we okay with that, right? Like, you go to Neyland Stadium, pretty much group of 3 or 4 people, $500 each, like, for a good game at the fucking minimum. You got to pay a talent fee. You got to pay, you might contribute to NIL, maybe not. You're gonna spend $1,000 on an Airbnb for 2 nights or 1 night. You got to take your kids there. You got to drive many hours for a lot of people. So it's like, oh shit, is it worth it to like go to these games, or even travel to these games? Like, right? Like, if you wanted to go to this game today, right, and you're a Tennessee fan, I saw a lot of them in the stadium, right? Holy shit, you're basically down like $2,000 to $3,000, and you lose 70 points, right? So it's like you pay because you think your team is good and you want to see them play a big rival, right? Like, I understand that. But now logic is like, what, 12 in a row at Bama we lose. When's that going to change, right? 2-loss city, right? We're kind of stuck in this 2-loss zone. The only saving grace is that it's a 12-team playoff, right? If this was a 14 playoff, we'd be fucking dead, right? I'd tell you to go, college basketball season is almost on the way. Just stick to that. I mean, obviously college football is the best, right? I'm not trying to be negative about college football, but you have to consider, is this team good, right? That's ultimately it. Like, I think we're mediocre in the SEC right now. We barely beat the shit teams. We're pretty much can win guaranteed one game Kentucky, right? Like, I think that's a no-brainer, no 100% lock. Other than that, what are our games left? Florida, Oklahoma, and Indy. I don't think any of those are guaranteed. So what can we look forward to, right? What was good about this game? We didn't really have trouble getting yards, right? We didn't have trouble like kind of putting pressure on Bama for some parts of the game. But when we got the turnovers and when we had our explosive plays, they didn't really turn into many points. That's the biggest fucking issue we had. Like 100%. When you force a fumble at the before the 50-yard line, like in Bama territory, and you lose yards after that play, you have to consider like, holy shit, how did that happen, right? Last couple of years, like when we played Alabama, we were close, like most of the game, right? Even when we lost with Joe Milton 2 years ago, I didn't feel like I felt today, right? Like we're down 17 and a half. We lost by 17. Other than obviously we tied the ball game at 7-7. After that point in time, it was not fucking close, right? We had the I guess what in the first or second quarter we gave up a safety, and then they scored, right? So 7-7 became 9-7, then that became 16-7. And then obviously, like, we had an opportunity to go 16-14 to end the half. And then that explosive play results in 23-7 when it should have resulted in 16-14. So all in all, again, keeping it short for today, we got fucking hosed. We're not as good as them. We have a chance next year to beat them because, like, Nealon adds 10 points, probably. And that's not an exaggeration, right? Even with Nico, who is like a more inconsistent quarterback than Joey Aguilar, like we were down at half, and he had no problem coming back. In Nealon, obviously at Bama, we're going to need better players to beat them. Like, I know we got this, number one recruit coming to us next season. Let's see how actually good he is, right? I question why we can't get these elite playmakers that Bama has, that Ohio State has, that even Oregon has, Indiana has. Nobody's really choosing, oh shit, like let me go to Neyland Stadium, right? And that's interesting, right? Like, when's the last time we had a sick wide receiver, like a first round draft pick wide receiver? Let me go back and check that. That's what we need. Like, it's 2025. When is the last time a Tennessee wide receiver was drafted in the first round? 2013, Cordell Patterson. And he was drafted by the Vikings. That happens to be my team. But, like, dude, it's been 12 years since that's happened, right? If you think about it, almost all of the other SEC teams have a wide receiver that's been drafted in the first round or second round. Let's just check second round for curiosity, right? Okay. Again, 2013, Justin Hunter by the Titans. So basically, what that has told me is we have not had a fucking player that plays wide receiver drafted in the first 2 rounds for 12 years. And we're competing against teams that get them drafted in the first round almost every year or every other year or 1 out of 3 years. You get my point here, guys? Like, we get the NIL. We keep changing quarterbacks, keep the same staff, right? And don't get elite players at wide receiver that can play make. This shit happens, right? Like, we had a generational running back, and we kind of do well with running backs, right? We know how to deal with them, but we don't know how to deal with wide receivers, man. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time since this type of shit has worked. And, we've had elite talent at wide receiver. Miles Kittelman. That drop, like, broke me. That was like, okay, maybe this is our one last chance. No. So, guys, like, lessons from today. Obviously, you can't throw the pick six. Yeah, if you're gonna, like, get into passing battle with a better team, with a better QB and better wide receivers, it's not gonna work, right? Our secondary is pretty much shit again. Not terrible game from them, right? Like, not statistically, not so bad. So, like, that's all right. So, what did we give up passing wise? We gave up 253, and we looked it up last week. Their average was 257. So, we actually did better than our average. Gave up 120 yards. Again, kind of great. I just saw something that I didn't talk about. They had 4 sacks. We had 0, right? We did have that forced fumble, so that was sick. We recovered it. So, like, that forced fumble does not excuse the kind of pressure that we didn't really put on Ty Simpson. And kind of my point from last week is, like, okay, when you face a better O-line, what's going to happen to our very good pass rush, very good defensive line? I don't think they played that badly, but again, they didn't play enough to disrupt the game. All of the disruption was from Bama, and I think that's because they have better players. So this is me logging out. Thank you for the 1 or 2 people that have listened. But other than that, we will catch you on Tuesday night. We'll kind of describe more of the fallout from this game. But yeah, so long. Go Vols. And yeah, there's always next year.